What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Hostile Takeover. Today's going to be a little bit of a different video. It's going to be a little bit more of a reaction video. There's a new game coming out in a couple days I'm very excited for called XDefiant. It's a Call of Duty arcade style shooter, kind of old school Call of Duty. It's from the makers of Modern Warfare 2 and COD 4. Kind of the older school Call of Duty games. This video right here is just a reaction video to the video that they just posted, the update video talking about all the updated features and modes and all that kind of stuff in the game. So you'll see my live reaction to it. Maybe it'll give you guys some information on it. Again, it's a free-to-play game. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's a free-to-play game. So even if you just want to get on, see if you like it, give it a try, and because we want to support this game any way we can, support positive player engagement with these games. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like and the subscribe button, and I'll jump right into the reaction video. Just before we jump into the actual video, I want to remind you guys that I am doing a live stream for the launch of XDefiant over on twitch.tv/Hostile Takeover on May the 21st. The servers go live around 1 p.m., so I'll try to be live around 11, but just want to let you guys know that as well. Alright guys, so here we go. This is the XDefiant preseason developer insights, as you guys can see in the top there. Just a lot of developers talking about the maps, the pro tips, all that kind of stuff in the game. We're going to go through it. I'm going to pause it where need be to give my opinion on things and discuss. So here we go. Make sure the volume's not wild. The XDebrief.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to XDebrief, the show that gives you all the news, details, and updates on XDefiant. My name is Yusuf Garcia Magid, and I'll be your host.
That's a name, Yusuf.
Every episode, I'll be joined by a developer to talk about the state,
That's a name.
what updates are on the way, and give you a first look at new things like maps, weapons, factions, and more. We also want to build the show with you, so let me introduce you to a crucial member of our team, Zach Paget. Zach is a community developer on XDefiant, and he's the direct link between you and the show.
Okay. It's a community manager.
Hey everyone, I'm Zach, the community developer.
Community developer?
As Yusuf just mentioned, there is no XDebrief without you. So feel free to talk to us. Comment on this YouTube video or post in our Discord and let us know what you want to see in the show. We want to make sure that you're both seen and heard. So each XDebrief will end with a community segment where we'll be...
I would just like to point out that this is not a normal thing that developers do. I have seen games do this. Sea of Thieves does like a community developer update like this. Rainbow Six does it. A bunch of Ubisoft games do it. Never seen Call of Duty do this once. Maybe back in the day. Back in the day they might have. But definitely not in recent years, I'll tell you that much.
Answering those questions and showing off amazing moments. To be a part of the show, just use the hashtag XDebrief to submit your questions and gameplay tips. Until next time.
Now, this is the first episode of XDebrief.
Try to close this window here.
Fitting to start things off with executive producer Mark Rubin.
The man, Mark Rubes.
Earlier to talk about the team's vision for the game and how it'll grow and evolve with players.
Man, the myth, the legend. So Mark Rubin was actually the before we get into the interview here. I'm actually going to move this so you can see his face. Mark Rubin, the guy over here, was actually the cover model soldier for both COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2. So his fingerprints are all over classic Call of Duty. And I'm just excited to see what he does with this new title. We'll see.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty here because I'm so curious to pick your brain about it. Obviously, you have a ton of experience with first-person shooters, and I want to know, for you, what makes a great arcade shooter?
Is going to always be the controls. If you don't get the controls right, if you don't get the feel, the
Facts.
fluidity, and that's not just the controls themselves. That also has to do with things like the map design, how you flow through the map. It doesn't feel so natural that you almost don't notice it.
I will say the map design in this game
quite
is
there yet. And
good
I think
so
that's
far.
something that we've had as a major focus for our game since
I
the
like.
beginning. And it's why we brought in a lot of experts, a lot of pro players to make sure we get those controls just right.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of what makes a good first-person shooter, I know you've made some very specific decisions with XDefiant. One of them being no skill-based matchmaking. Now, for folks who might not be familiar, what exactly is skill-based
So this is big that they're. I'm gonna pause it here. So the fact that they're bringing this up, he's asking about skill-based matchmaking, and I love his answer. I've already seen kind of clips of his answer from this, but let's listen and see what he has to say specifically about skill-based matchmaking (SBMM) in Call of Duty.
Okay, so skill-based matchmaking, also known as oftenly as SBMM, basically where the game decides that you have a certain skill level after it kind of watches you play for a few matches, and then matches you up with people who are equivalent on your skill level. Now, in the olden days, it was pretty light and didn't really intrude too much into the game. It has become something that is more what they call actually engagement-based matchmaking now.
Engagement-based.
Like an AI that's monitoring your behavior and going, okay, this person's getting beaten too many times, and we think they might quit, so we're going to make the game easier for them, and then you'll get a game where you win, and then it'll bring you back to the playing against the same people you were playing for. And the thing with all that, besides the whole sort of morality of it, is that I think it creates a stale experience, right? Like you keep playing against the same exact people, not the same exact people specifically, but the same exact type of player. You lose out on all the fun variety that I think a lot of the old.
Very good point that I actually haven't thought about is when you're in that skill-based matchmaking, when you keep getting matched with the same skill level players as yourself, it really becomes a very dull and boring experience. If you're sweating and having to go 100% every game, that's what rank's for. That's not what public matches are for. So I'm glad that especially this game will have a ranked mode, but I'm happy that especially in public matches that won't be affecting it.
Cool shooters had like the jump into a match and you can see a guy in there who's just wrecking, right? He is just absolutely destroying, and you're kind of having fun with it because he's just so good, or she, and then
Or
you
she.
get into another game where you're the person
Or she.
who's wrecking, right? Like, and that experience, that variety is really what I think is missing in a lot of some of the modern arcade shooters.
I agree.
I think it's something that we really feel is important to bring back to first-person shooters.
Your philosophy with XDefiant through this whole pre-launch phase seems to be, let's get it in the hands of players, let's listen to players. And obviously there was a closed beta, you've also had open sessions, you've had the PTS session as well. What sort of feedback are you getting from players, and how has the game kind of evolved from that closed beta to where it is now at launch?
It's amazing how much influence players have had on this game. I mean,
Yeah.
You look at the start at our
A lot of community feedback, which is good.
We were a Tom Clancy punk rock game, and the feedback we got was nobody wanted that and nobody liked it, and we were like, okay. We said, let's redo it. Let's take the time to redesign, and it's not just big things like that. It's been little things like map voting was something that we didn't have on our roadmap.
I think this game works better as a arcade shooter that includes the elements of the Ubisoft universe without Tom Clancy title.
We actually put in early and got it into some of our playtests because players requested it. That's the behavior that we have on this game, and that's the philosophy that has led to where we are now and will continue to drive us for the future.
Speaking of that gathering feedback and the input players have had, what is your philosophy on gathering player feedback? Because obviously there are the vocal folks out there who are going to let their opinions be known, but you're also gathering a lot of data, I imagine, behind the scenes. So how do you balance those two, what people are asking for versus what you're seeing?
The more we communicate with our audience, the more we talk with them, the more we listen, and the more we show them, compare with the data. And I think for us, again, transparency being a big thing,
I
want
can't wait to
share
snipe
that
in this
data,
game. The sniping
not
feels
just
great.
Say, hey, the data shows that we
At least from the
think this is
playtest I
right
played.
choice, so that's why we made that choice. I'd rather say, hey, look, here's the data. This is what we're working with. This is what we've found. I know there's some opinions that maybe contradict this, but we have this data. Let's talk about it. I think there's that language that we have to build with our audience. It's something we want to continue to do for 8 or more years from now. We want to keep having that same kind of dialogue with our audience.
When you look at XDefiant, what things need to happen for it to achieve that level of success?
It's all about exciting content that just makes you go, I did not expect that. And for us, you know,
Facts.
we have access to every single IP that Ubisoft has ever shipped. So everything that you can think of.
Give us some like
available
Assassin's
to us
Creed
is on
stuff.
the platform.
I don't care.
So when we look at our roadmap, content-wise, we already have most of our content done for the first year, and we're already working.
Give us like a map set in ancient Italy. Not ancient Italy, but like, you know what I'm talking about.
It's going to change up the gameplay, change up the meta of the gameplay. I love how our maps, you know, keeping the game fresh, keeping you excited about, there's a new place to play the game in a new and completely surprising location. That's something that will really keep this game going for a long period of time.
I imagine it's been a
And it's not a
long
game
road.
that's
What does
bound
it
to any
take
era,
to
which is cool.
This is a special moment to be able to come together and create a brand new IP, a brand new shooter that has so far the amount of attention that this one has had. For me personally, yeah, being here today and this moment is just is a huge achievement for myself, for the team, and emotionally just super exciting. I can't wait.
enjoy this one?
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's really exciting. Thank you for having me.
Actually, really nice to hear from Mark
While
Rubin.
Morgan's
Been a
been
couple
on
years since I
Xbox
heard
for
from
a
him.
while now, for players, the journey is just about to
Other than
start.
just Twitter
For
posts.
those of you brand new to XDefiant, we have Mark give you the top tips for each of XDefiant's 5 game modes.
Now I'm wondering if one of these will be an S&D type
Starting
mode.
off with Escort, one of the key things that people don't necessarily realize is that multiple people on the package make it move faster. So when you get the opportunity, you can get a few of the defenders to have to respawn, jump on that package and move it as fast as you can. For zone control, it's all about pushing or defending. For attackers, having someone as a phantom with either the deployable shield or the blitz shield, being able to use that to dive and push into the zones while being supported by healing from Libertad or extra DPS from cleaners will really help you push into those zones. If you're on defense, DedSec, cleaners, echelon characters, when you're in there and you're able to create the chaos to disrupt the coordinated effort that the offense is putting, that's going to help you win that round.
That flamethrower looks good.
So domination is a pretty well-known and classic game mode, and flanking has always been important in this mode.
I'm surprised they can call it domination. Is that not a... I guess it's not a Call of Duty specific thing. You have it in Battlefield and whatnot, I think.
Abilities can help them be better flankers. And another tip for domination is if you can get control of the B point, don't sit back on the point trying to defend. Push a little bit forward, not too much. So that
I would be very interested to see a competitive in this game of how many different roles there are. If you have to have an anchor to hold down the spawn points for different hills and whatnot.
It's all about getting to the next point before the other team does, which means rotating out early, knowing.
Like, I mean, in my personal opinion, that was when Call of Duty was at its best, is when you had to have Black Ops 2 and you had to have, you know, an AR player rotating for the anchor position to hold spawns. You'd have to have SMG players help out with that, you know, help push out spawns. You know, that was when I think the game was at its best, when you had specific roles like that. Or competitive was at its best, not the game, but competitive.
So Hotshot is basically our TDM mode. It's about getting as many kills as you can and collecting the other players.
Like kill confirmed.
To increase your score. The key thing is, if the Hotshot is on your
Kind
team,
of.
make sure you try to let that person collect the bounty, because they will be worth 3 points versus 1 point if you collect them. Those are my top tips for each game mode, but in XDefiant there are always different ways to win. So best of luck to everyone out there.
Nothing clings like burning. In the zone. Don't forget to clock out.
For an arena shooter like XDefiant, map knowledge is so important. So to better understand how maps are built,
I think this camera setup is better. I don't think I'm in the way of anything.
break it down.
At least not yet.
Hi, I'm Safi, Creative Director on XDefiant, and today we're talking about maps. As you may already know, XDefiant is an arcade shooter where many worlds collide.
I gotta say, the maps so far have been great. At least the maps we've seen. Have we seen all these?
Fully embrace the fantasy of the worlds they come from.
I don't think we've.
We're
No, we.
trying to have an extremely diverse pool of maps at launch.
No, I don't think we've seen all these. I think some of these are still
When jumping from
coming,
map to map,
I think.
ranging from the vibrant and Caribbean-inspired Pueblito from Far Cry 6 to the urban streets of Brooklyn from The Division in Dumbo, or the playful Noodle Tech campus from Watch Dogs 2.
Can we go down the slide?
That contrast is
Probably
also
not.
something we aim for through the map design, as we always try to convey the original game's layout as much as possible. It helps us make our game richer and more varied, offering players opportunities.
That's what I'm saying. Give us
to
like
control layouts
some
and
Assassin's
custom
Creed
configurations to best
locations.
adapt to the map they play. A good example is the way we designed the
Give us,
playfield from scratch, but kept it inspired by
Why am I blanking on the name of the church in
that offers a lot of opportunities
Italy?
easily take cover
Where the Pope
and
lives.
sneak up on opponents using air vents and other small tunnels.
Search the V. I can't remember what it's called, but you know what I mean.
All ties back to the spy fantasy. Attica Heights from Ghost Recon Phantoms is another arena map worth mentioning. Since Phantoms was a PvP shooter, we were able to stay closer to the original map layout, which offered a unique set of features. It's fully symmetrical, has long sightlines, pitfalls, and an interesting layered central objective point. Another big element we're proud of is our linear maps. These
Yes,
maps are
linear
designed
maps.
for
Amen.
asymmetrical modes that have progressive objectives. We
Raise the
knew
roof.
these maps and nodes would make our faction gameplay shine, but didn't know if it was going to work with our fast TTK.
It works. Love it.
We first experimented with an escort mode on Times Square, and it was an instant hit with the team. From there, we decided to make linear maps a true part of our core game and added another linear mode called Zone Control. Their bigger size allows for bigger spaces and landmarks, but also very distinct and contrasted styles within each map. For example, when playing
Bro, that's a
Downtown, players
tough
start
fight to
outside
go there,
on a
the
snowy
sniper.
train track with long sightlines, before getting inside the foundry with more close-quarter combat, and then finish in the huge blast furnace circular.
See, I don't think we've played this one.
Each zone of the map calls for different gameplay dynamics.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
We've put a lot of work into the 14 maps going out at launch and already consider them a strong pillar of XDefiant. We are really
I agree.
happy to see the positive reaction so
I don't know if I'd be using a
far.
burst gun on this
Pushing
map.
on
That's
players
just me.
and to release
And it
one
seems to be
new
going
game
off,
every
so.
single month. I can't wait to see how players react to some very surprising ones we're currently working on. Thanks for watching, and see you online.
With Mark's game mode tips and Safi's map walkthrough, you're more than prepared to start racking up wins in XDefiant.
Damn right. Let's
What
go.
happens next? How do you go from being good at the game to being great at the game? That's exactly what we asked them.
Getting your ass kicked a couple times and learn how to play.
Here are their tips on how to play XDefiant like a pro.
That's what's lost in current gaming nowadays is people don't have to struggle to be good anymore. Honestly.
Top tips to play XDefiant like a pro, I would say number one, your loadout. You gotta have the right loadout. You gotta get the attachments that are benefiting the playstyle that you want to aim for.
Eggs, patty cakes.
I like to put on attachments that can make it quicker. I like to be fast. I like to be mobile. For you, you might be more accurate. Either way, try them, see how they fit you, and go from there. If I have to go to attachments, I'll probably go with the quick draw. Quick draw is always a must for me. They'll be able to pull my gun up faster. When it comes to assault rifles too, I like to
I mean,
just so I can be able to see what I'm shooting at. Those are like my two must-haves.
esports professionals stretch.
Across the board with the SMGs, the assault rifles, and
Not for
it makes
Itachi,
it so
he
you have
actually
a
is,
good
though.
balance of good recoil control, be able to aim in quickly, and be ready for those spontaneous gunfights.
And putting attachments on your gun to up your strafe speed, especially on ARs, is one of the best things you can do to up your accuracy percentage without having to mess with your aim or sensitivity too much.
So I sprint a lot. I'm kind of a fast running gun player, so I aim for those sprint out attachments. That sprint out time, reduce that. ADS time, reduce that. And then, but also you need to maintain and not add too much complexity in terms of adding recoil and basically getting those negative movement speed penalties. So you really want to kind of find.
I mean,
to
one of the most winning COD players of all time.
Available to play the way you want with the best loadout possible.
The second tip would be understanding the movement mechanics, and that's because XDefiant isn't a game that is slow-paced and you can just kind of hold your ADS and walk around the map.
Movement is a really core aspect of our gameplay, not only defensively but also offensively when you're in an engagement. For us, like the slide jump combo is super effective when you're going on the offensive.
Why? You make people miss. And if you miss, it's easier to use your skills, your abilities, your ultras, your ultimates. Anything you can do in the game, it becomes easier when you slide, jump, and move effectively in the air.
What we do
True.
is we allow you to
Evading bullets.
through slides as long as you're maintaining forward momentum, so you're able to kind of chain those events back and forth. Another big aspect is our in-air ability, because you can strafe in air. So if you're in a gunfight, wiggle your left stick a little, or if you're on mouse and keyboard, A and D, and you'll be able to basically be able to kind of navigate mid-air, which gives you a little like side juke, and it's really hard to hit.
A lot of players in the closed beta, they used it to like camera corners. And what that means is basically you'll slide jump as you come around the corner, so it just makes you a harder target to hit.
Acceleration of movement is what increases that cameraing aspect. So what I want you to do is maybe you hit that corner slow, and then you throw in a movement to make it accelerate to being fast.
You know when you hit it like really good, when you feel like somebody missed a whole clip on you, you hit a reload mid-air, mid-strafe, and then you kill them. I think it's like the #1 most like skill gap differentiating thing in the game.
If someone's doing that to you, I would say the best counter is really just crouching. I think crouching is like a really effective method in counterplay, because you basically just crouch down, you're stagnant, but the enemy is going to be expecting you to be doing what they're doing, and you can really throw them off guard and probably get the advantage.
You need to be strafing into your target. The less input you have on the right stick, the more accurate you're going to be. So what I mean by that, like your ADS, and I need you to strafe to put that red dot on your target.
So when we're talking about a game like XDefiant, where we have factions and different playable characters, that's a whole nother story and a whole nother thing you need to take into mind when you're playing the game.
Is all about getting value out of your abilities with each character and using them at the right times in coordination with your teammates to maximize value. So if you use these abilities at the right time, you can minimize the amount of actual gunfights that you even have and force the enemy team to spawn out as far as possible based on these kills. So you take ability like the Aegis, for example. You pop that at the right time, and instead of burning multiple ultra abilities on one hard point, you can combine that with a Remedio healing on the ground, and there's no way the other enemy teams are going to be able to take back a hard point. You can use that, lock down 45 free seconds, and then use your next ultra ability on the rotation towards new. So it's all about timing those abilities at the right time to basically make it so you can lock down with your teammates and not have to take gunfights.
Use a faction that not only helps yourself but your team would be Libertad. They have a healing ability that heals you and anyone in the vicinity of you, so it can come to good use in team fights, team play.
On top of movement is knowing when you should play a specific character, because they all have their own positives, they all have their own negatives, but there's always a way to counter.
Understanding the power positions, really, so you don't get caught off guard, so you don't ever have to play reactionary. You're always one step ahead. And an example of what a power spot is, I'll use the map Arena for example. Top mid is a power position, and the reason why it's a power position is because of where all the spawns are in the map. You spawn in, a lot of the times you'll spawn in like the locker rooms, in the tunnels around the outskirts of the map. So while you're top mid, you can really get an angle on every spawn that your enemy will be coming from, and you can also hold lanes down. When you get into these power spots, sometimes you can use either gun if you're more of an AR player or an SMG player.
It's more so just getting some game knowledge, and that goes with just putting a lot of time into the game, and with time, your knowledge will come.
These are sort of advanced things, but these are things that are definitely going to help improve your play.
We're locking down the zone. Mission success. It's almost like you've done this before.
That's it for our first episode of XDebrief. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to follow us at PlayXDefiant and submit your questions and gameplay clips with the hashtag XDebrief. Congrats to all the developers who worked so hard on the game. Be kind to them. Thanks to Mark and Safi for joining us today. We will see you all in Season 1. Have fun.